Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Voice of Diary. If you are directly listening this story, recommend to listen the first part, then you can relate the complete story. So without losing any time, let's start the story. Put on your earphones for better experience. You are listening the Voice of Diary. The 30th day landed on a Tuesday. She still hadn't packed, not a single box. Instead, she doubled down. The night before the deadline, she sat across from me at the kitchen table, calm, too calm. "You're not actually going to file eviction," she said. "That'll ruin your record too." "It won't," I replied. "I'm a property owner." She leaned back. "You think judges care about technicalities? I'll tell them you emotionally manipulated me, that you used money to control me." I didn't react, because I had already filed the unlawful detainer paperwork that morning. In our state, once the 30-day notice expires and the occupant refuses to leave, you can file immediately. The court assigns a hearing date, usually within a few weeks. She'd be formally served by a process server. She didn't know yet. 2 days later, she found out. I wasn't home when the process server knocked, but my camera caught it. He handed her the summons and complaint. Her face shifted from confusion to panic. She called me instantly. "You actually filed?" she said, voice shaking. "Yes." "You're insane." "No, I'm consistent." She hung up. That evening, she tried a new angle. When I walked in, she was recording. Her phone pointed at me. "So, this is how you treat women?" she said loudly. "You kick them out when they disagree with you?" I looked at the phone. "Are you live?" She smiled. "Maybe." I took out my phone too. Started recording. "Good," I said. "Let's be clear. You were served proper notice. The deadline passed. You chose not to leave. The court will decide now." Her smile dropped. She didn't post that clip. Next move? Property damage. Minor. Calculated. A scratch across the hardwood near the hallway. A broken lamp. She accidentally spilled coffee near my desk. Little things meant to provoke me into losing control. I didn't. I documented everything. Photos. Timestamps. Because here's something she didn't think about. In eviction cases, if a tenant causes damage beyond normal wear and tear, the landlord can counterclaim for damages in small claims court after possession is restored. She was building my case for me. Then came the biggest swing. 3 days before the court hearing, she filed for a temporary restraining order, alleging harassment, not violence, not assault, emotional intimidation, and coercive housing threats. When I got served, I won't lie, that one hit. Because even baseless, a TRO can complicate things. It can impact housing proceedings temporarily. But here's the thing about restraining orders in the U.S. Judges don't grant permanent ones without evidence. Temporary ones are often granted short-term until a hearing where both sides present proof. Our hearing was scheduled 5 days later. She moved out that same week, but not because she wanted to, because her attorney probably told her the footage, the texts, and the timeline weren't in her favor. The restraining order hearing came first. We stood in front of the judge. No jury, just facts. She said I created a hostile environment by serving notice suddenly. My attorney calmly presented the 30-day written notice, proof of service, HOA dismissal of her complaint, screenshots of her threatening to lie, video of the party, video of her attempting to record me for social media. The judge asked her one question. "Did he threaten you physically?" She hesitated. "No." "Did he deny you access to utilities?" "No." "Did he follow proper eviction procedure?" Silence. Her attorney answered quietly. "Yes, Your Honor." The temporary restraining order was dismissed. Just like that. She avoided eye contact, walking out. But the real climax wasn't the courtroom. It was what happened after. Because while all this was happening, I'd done something she never anticipated. I stopped defending myself publicly, and I started telling the truth. Not messy, not emotional, just facts. I posted a single statement online. Being mocked publicly by someone you love isn't humor. It's control. When boundaries are ignored, consequences follow. Legal process isn't abuse, it's protection. I didn't mention her name, didn't post screenshots, didn't attack. But people connected dots, especially when the original toxic trait post was gone. Then her quiet friend, the one who sent me screenshots, posted her own vague message about people who weaponize vulnerability. That's when the narrative flipped. Her friend started distancing. Not dramatically, quietly. She lost more than an apartment. She lost the image she curated. The eviction hearing date arrived, but by then she had already moved out voluntarily. Her attorney filed a notice of surrender of possession. That meant the unlawful detainer case was dismissed as resolved. Clean record. No eviction judgment. Exactly how I wanted it. But I wasn't done. Remember the property damage? After I regained full possession, I had the place inspected. Documented scratches, broken items, cleaning costs. I sent her a demand letter for damages. Reasonable, itemized, backed by receipts. She ignored it, so I filed in small claims court. No lawyers required there. At the hearing, I presented photos, timestamps, and the video showing the condition before and after. She tried to argue it was normal wear. The judge disagreed. Judgment awarded in my favor. Not life-changing money, but accountability. She had 30 days to pay. She paid on the 29th. Transfer labeled, foreclosure. I didn't respond. The final twist? A mutual acquaintance told me she'd started dating someone new. And guess what her caption was? Finally, with someone emotionally mature. I almost laughed. But here's the part that matters. She never once apologized. Not for the post. Not for the lies. Not for the threats. Because entitlement doesn't apologize. It recalibrates. And for the first time in my life, I didn't shrink. The kid who got picked on learned something valuable back then. You don't win by punching back. You win by standing firm and letting people face the consequences of their own actions. And she did. After the restraining order got dismissed. After she surrendered the apartment. After the small claims judgment hit her bank account. You'd think that was the end. Legally, it was. Emotionally, not quite. Because right after the small claims ruling, I had everything I needed to destroy her reputation. Every screenshot, every thread about lying, every message where she said she'd try to get me in trouble at work, every clip of her laughing while my high school photo was projected on my own TV. I had it all organized in one folder. All it would have taken was one post, one thread, one calm, detailed breakdown. And her emotionally mature rebrand would have collapsed overnight. I won't lie, I drafted it. 3 pages. Timeline, receipts, clips. I even titled it, since we're talking about toxic. My finger hovered over post. And that's when something uncomfortable hit me. If I did that, I'd be doing the same thing she did. Public humiliation, weaponized vulnerability, just better executed. The difference between justice and revenge is thin, and I was right on the edge of it. That night, she texted me for the first time since paying the judgment. I hope you're happy. I stared at it for a long time. Not angry, just aware. I typed back one sentence. I'm peaceful. That was the truth. Because here's what she never understood. The eviction wasn't about money. The lawsuit wasn't about the lamp. The courtroom wasn't about winning. It was about boundaries. When someone you love turns your past into a leash, you either let them pull it or you cut it. She thought insecure meant weak. It didn't. It meant I used to doubt myself. That kid she tried to remind me of, he used to avoid conflict. He used to laugh along so people wouldn't laugh harder. But growth changes things. A week after everything ended, I ran into her at the gym. First time seeing her in person since court. She looked at me like she was trying to figure something out. You really went through all that, she said. Over a post. No, I replied. Over respect. She crossed her arms. You could have just talked to me. I did. Silence. For a second, I saw it. Not regret. Not guilt. Just realization. She had underestimated me. And entitlement hates being wrong. You've changed, she said. I had to. She shook her head slightly. You didn't have to make it public. I didn't, I said. That landed. Because I hadn't. I never exposed her. Never posted the screenshots. Never blasted her name. All I did was respond legally and calmly. And that's what bothered her most. She wanted chaos. She got procedure. She wanted emotion. She got documentation. She wanted the scared high school kid. She met the grown man who learned from him. Before she walked away, she said something that stuck. "You made me look crazy." I looked at her carefully. "No," I said. "You did." And that was it. No dramatic music. No shouting. No viral meltdown. Just consequences. A month later, I repainted the living room. Rearranged furniture. Sold the TV. She used to airplay that photo. I replaced it with something better. Not the TV. The mindset. I stopped explaining myself to people who benefit from misunderstanding me. That's the real revenge. Peace without permission. If there's anything this whole mess taught me, it's this. When someone calls you insecure for having boundaries, what they really mean is, you're harder to control now. And some people can't stand that. So yeah, that's how a toxic trait, post turned into court dates, legal notices, and a final lesson neither of us expected. If you stuck through all 4 parts, you already know the quiet ones aren't weak. We're observant, and we document everything. If you want more stories where respect gets enforced the legal way, hit subscribe and ring that bell. Turns out, insecurity makes great case law.